As the aviation industry has rebounded from the COVID pandemic, the need for larger airplanes has become more pressing. Clearly, the 747 and A380 are no longer options for airlines to choose when expanding capacity and are, for now, stuck with the smaller A350s and 777s of the world. But what if Boeing and Airbus decided to stretch their respective largest airliners? Is this possible? And if so, how would they compete against each other? In this video, we'll explore both the 777-10 and A350-2000 stretch concepts and figure out how feasible each program may be. These concepts are actually not as theoretical as you may think. At the 2025 Dubai Air Show, Emirates explicitly mentioned that they are interested in a 777-10, and other airlines have expressed specific interest in a stretched A350. There is clear market demand for increased capacity version of both of these jets, and it's really only a question of when and how Airbus and Boeing decide to respond. For Boeing, the priority for now is to produce the 777X variants they've already released and not get ahead of themselves. However, the -10 stretch is definitely at the back of their minds. That being said, the A350 program is in full swing, with both the -900 and -1000 variants in operation with several airlines. Airbus could begin feasibility studies on the variant soon, and there is discussion in the industry for what it would look like. Before I discuss specifics, please do consider subscribing to my channel. I post twice weekly long-form aviation videos and twice daily shorts. If you want to listen in to future videos and have enjoyed this video thus far, hitting the like and subscribe button goes a long way. The A350-2000 would likely add two small fuselage plugs to add around 40 to 60 passengers extra in capacity, with an extra exit necessary, and potentially a slightly tuned version of the Trent XWB to support the slightly higher weight. The airline could also sacrifice some weight by reducing range statistics with little to no update in the engines. This would place the A350 stretch in the 420 to 450 passenger segment, perfectly aligned with the 777-9. This would actually be the exact intent of the program, competing head-to-head with the most popular 777X variant. At last, Airbus would have a direct segment competitor to the 777-9. The 777-10 would be in a league of its own. In fact, the 777-10 would be the closest aircraft to a 747 or A380. Similar to the A350 concept, the 777-10 would include two added rings to the fuselage with an increase of about 40 to 60 seats. The current engine platform can support the added weight, and little modification would need to be made outside of an added emergency exit. The concept would see configurations reach up to about 500 total passengers in a 2 or 3 class layout. Realistically, airlines like Emirates would seat around 440 in such a jet, which is considerably higher than the 350 in the -300ER setup, but still less than the about 500 on the A380. However, this is the closest replacement Emirates will get, and will also provide a massive savings in efficiency. This is undoubtedly why Emirates is so keen on the -10 stretch. They understand too well the slot constraints at many busy airports. However, Boeing is clearly under a lot of stress, and is honestly further from being able to make a -10 than Airbus from making a -2000. On that note, Airbus also revealed at the 2025 Dubai Air Show that several customers had approached them interested in an A350 stretch, and that they were legitimately considering it. This is interesting news because Airbus has had an incredible sales year and is in the financial place to announce a new variant, while Boeing is not really. With all of this optimism, there is some doubt, especially for the A350 stretch. While the GE9X would likely support a 777 stretch, the Trent XWB may not support the extra weight without some modification. Researching the necessary improvements is definitely the next step to see if a redesign or upgrade is even worth it. Now, if Airbus could get the GE9X on an A350 stretch, we'd already have a winner. However, of course, that engine is exclusive to the 777X. Clearly, Airbus has a dilemma on their hands and will need to head to their engineering department to get it figured out. Now, which concept has more potential? Well, I think both do have real potential, but they both have their individual roadblocks. While the 777-10 may be easier to design, Boeing has their plate full, And while Airbus could more easily launch a new program, they've got more difficulty from a design perspective. Both variants would be exciting and a promising development in the expansion of air travel across the world. Which airlines do you think would be interested in these concepts? Let me know in the comments. In my mind, the Gulf carriers would be the obvious first customers. I could see Emirates order the 777-10 and Qatar Airways order a stretched A350. In Europe and Asia, I could also see strong demand from both variants, from airlines like British Airways, Lufthansa, and Air France. I hope you enjoyed this video and will consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Also, if you want early access to videos and other perks, check out my channel memberships by hitting the join button. All your support is very much appreciated and allows more videos like this one to be published. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next.